welcome to the Ruby and Pearls knitting channel. My name is Leah and today I'm getting ahead of the seasons and sharing with you some Christmas sweater patterns that you might want to knit this year. I am very aware that it is only September, but if you are not a particularly fast knitter or you don't have heaps and heaps of knitting time on your hands, you may want to think now about Christmas jumper knitting or Christmas sweater knitting for this Christmas 2025. I have quite a few patterns for you here. I haven't actually counted them, but I have a tablet in my hands here and I'm going to be sharing these patterns with you. Very crucially for this video, and you will have seen it in the title, these are all Christmas sweaters that say Christmas but don't scream Christmas. And that was very important to me. I personally prefer a Christmas sweater that I can wear throughout December and that won't be completely out of place for me to wear in January as well. And that is how I chose these patterns. A couple of quick caveats just before we start. Number one, these patterns aren't all completely size inclusive. If they are not, I will quickly check and let you know when I am sharing the patterns with you. And number two, I find videos where too many numerical details are being shared extremely tedious to watch. So I won't be telling you the full size range or how much yarn you're going to need or what needle size or anything like that. But I will be sharing with you what yarn weight you might need, so you've got a little bit of an idea, and I'll be linking the pattern bundle down below. So you can click on that and get all the information you might need from there. I'm also not going to list all the patterns separately down below because, quite frankly, I don't want to. I find it very tedious to do that. So just check the bundle and you will find everything you might need to know there. Okay, let's start off with the Holly Sweater by Pernilla Larsen of Knitting for Olive. This is a pattern published as part of the Knitting for Olive collection, so it is knit in their yarns. You need a fingering and lace weight held together, but DK would work as well. It is a beautiful top-down circular yoke sweater featuring this really stunning holly wreath kind of motif on the yoke. And this is a bit of a 2-for-1, not in the sense that you get two patterns for one when you buy it, but there is a children's version that you can buy separately. So, a couple of things that you might need to be aware of with this pattern. As far as I'm aware, it is a fully size inclusive pattern, like all patterns by Pernilla Larsen are. It is knitted, like I say, in fingering and mohair, but you could easily substitute that for a regular DK. It is a circular yoke, and the motif looks a bit different in the children's version in that I think it is the same size motif. So it just looks a little bit different, but it would be beautiful for a matchy-matchy sweater if you wanted something for yourself and your child this Christmas. The one thing, actually two things I would like to point out. Number one, from listening to somebody I know speak about this pattern, this isn't the easiest type of colour work. There is 3 strands of colours to be held at the same time at certain points where you do the little berry bobbles. So it isn't that easy. And point number two, I don't think I've come across a version of this sweater that looks good that isn't in this pretty much exact colour scheme. So you need a pale main colour, like a light grey or a light beigey creamy colour, and then the very classic holly colours for the colour work. And that is the main reason why I probably won't be knitting this for my young nieces this year, because a very pale sweater I just don't think will be ideal for them in terms of getting it dirty, and it will just cause a bit more stress for the recipient's parents in this case of trying to keep it clean on an occasion like Christmas where you just want to have a relaxing time. So I think this might be better suited to slightly older children and obviously adults as well. Moving on to another pattern that is also available for children and adults, and it is the Snow Wonder by Heidi Kermeyer. This is also a top-down pattern. It's worsted weight at a 19 stitch gauge, and as far as I can see it is a raglan construction, and it features this beautiful snowflake motif on the front that is basically created in bobbles but in the same colour. So it's very sort of delicate and understated but still Christmassy and wintry, and looks really cute on both adults and children. It's fully size inclusive, like all patterns by Heidi Kermeyer are, from my knowledge, and I have knit many of her patterns and they are fantastic. I can highly recommend that you knit one of those, if not this pattern by her, a different one. Now, the next one I thought was very, very cute, and I personally may have to end up knitting this one. It is the Adult Sleepy Sloth Sweater by Jane Burns. There is also a children's Sleepy Sloth sweater, and it is basically a flat and seamed garment, so different construction, but it is, as far as I can tell, size inclusive. It has a lot of different sizes, and obviously also children's sizes, and it features an intarsia motif of a sleeping sloth, and you get to choose whether you would like to knit him on a branch or on a candy cane. So you can kind of dial up and down the level of Christmassiness you would like to go for. And what I thought was really cute is that the Santa hat that the sloth is wearing is actually detachable, so you can remove it and wear this whenever you fancy. But then you can put the Santa hat on and boom, you've got a Christmas sweater. I think it's fantastic and I think it's so cute. It is a DK8 pattern. I know it is seamed and knit flat, but intarsia is almost always done that way, because the only other way to do intarsia is to do short rows, in which case you're also purling lots of rows. So for me personally, this is definitely worth knitting flat. Okay, let's move on to the Santa Baby by Hannah Rimmen, which is a beautiful top-down circular yoke. It is a free pattern and it is a DK weight gauge of 20 stitches. It features these gorgeous rows of trees, and I think you could dial up the Christmassiness by having them dark green and embroidering them with little beads and baubles and using sort of really Christmassy red and gold and those kind of colours. Or you could really tone this down by having different shades of blue, maybe even like a gradient yarn of blue for your trees, and make it more like a winter wonderland look, which I think would be so beautiful. This is published on Filcana's website, as far as I'm aware, and I think there is also an adult male and a children's version of this sweater. So really versatile, great one for the whole family, and I think that would be very much worth knitting. Let's move on to the Snowflake pullover, or the Snowflake vest by, I can't pronounce this name, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to put it on the screen. Now this is not a size inclusive pattern. I can see straight away that there aren't that many sizes, but the largest size goes up to a 62-inch in terms of finished garments, so provided you don't want loads of positive ease, you might be able to make this pattern work. It is a Aran weight pattern knit in dropped air originally, and I just think it's really cute because it's just a little bit of a snowflake, but not a fully like the whole sweater doesn't feature snowflakes, if that makes sense. It is worked top down. It seems to be a drop shoulder. I'm not entirely sure how you work the chart. I think it might be kind of an intarsia situation as well. And then I actually personally like the vest more. I like this really big snowflake on the side. I think that is really, really striking. Okay, the next pattern I would like to talk to you about is a bit of a wild card, because it is only available in Japanese and I can't even pronounce the title, so I'm not going to bother because it's written in Japanese and the designer is Japanese. But I think if there was a way to download this pattern and just have the chart and somehow make it work, this would be so worth it because it's so cute. It's got these really cool fir tree branches that are all over the circular yoke. It is a steeked pattern by the looks of it because it's a cardigan. And then on one of the branches on the back you have this tiny little Santa sock or stocking hanging from it. So it's just like a gentle little nod at Christmas. I think it's so adorable. But I have no idea where you'd be able to purchase this, because when I made this bundle, I'm pretty sure this was available to purchase and now it isn't. But this, I'm just putting this in here as an inspiration for you. You could maybe use this in a different manner and adapt a different pattern and make a colourwork pattern like that. Let's talk about a few snowflake themed sweaters. The first one is the Nordic Snowflake sweater by Cheryl Mokhtari of Coco Amore Knitwear. This is a DK weight pattern, knit in fingering and lace weight held together. top down circular yoke with this beautiful band of snowflakes that look a bit more like stars to me actually. I just think this is really beautiful. It looks really wearable and really easy to style, and I think this is a good winter but also would work for Christmas kind of sweater. And a lot of patterns that I really enjoy are a bit like that. So I've got another one here. This is the When Snow Falls by Verena Kors. And this is a DK circular yoke pattern as well. I'm wondering which way this is constructed. I can't see it on here. But what is really interesting with this pattern is that she offers discount codes, and you can basically pay what you can, which I think is really, really generous. And the pattern isn't completely size inclusive again, which unfortunately I seem to be seeing all the time at the moment. But it has a very beautiful circular yoke, as I said, with all these lovely snowflakes on it. And I think hers was knit in sort of a bit of a gradient again. So I think those kind of yarns would lend themselves really well for anything Christmassy like this. Speaking of some more snowflakes, let's talk about the Little Crystals by Celine Phaeton. This pattern really did the rounds when it first came out. I think it was last year. And even though it was published in January, so it's not intended as a Christmas sweater, I think this works really, really well as just a gentle nod towards Christmas. It is a worsted weight pattern, but a 21 stitch gauge, so I think DK would work as well. It is a drop shoulder or a modified drop shoulder, and it is fully size inclusive, and it just has the most gorgeous snowflake star kind of motif going across, like little crystals as it says in the title. And then it has loads of other little bits of colour work, and if I'm not mistaken, some of this is knit flat, so you do need to do some colour work flat. But it just looks so wearable, and this is definitely something that is probably on my list to knit at some point. And depending on what colours you choose, this will be a bit more or a bit less Christmassy. Let's talk about a couple of sweaters by Saskia and Co, formerly known as the Petite Knitter. She is a designer up in the Arctic Circle, so she creates a lot of really stunning colourwork patterns that are sort of inspired by where she lives. And two of them struck me as quite Christmassy that I really enjoy. The first one is the Bethlehem sweater, which is a DK weight pattern. As far as I'm aware, her patterns, yep, they are fully size inclusive. This is a top-down circular yoke, and it has the most gorgeous snowflakey star kind of motif in quite a deep yoke, and then these little sparkles basically on the body and the sleeves, so that you continue doing colour work throughout the whole sweater. And I think it's got a really nice neckline as well. It's got a really high neck on this circular yoke, and yeah, this is definitely something I would love to have in my wardrobe. Another one by her, which is also DK pattern but at a bit of a tighter gauge, is the Caribou Crossing. And this one is just so gorgeous as well. I really like that it has the sort of reindeer motif, but it's not too sort of Christmas kitsch. It is quite muted and understated, but really beautiful with all these other motifs like little snowflakes and things around it. And yeah, this is another beautiful top-down circular yoke. She is really known for top-down circular yokes, so if you're looking for something like that, I would highly recommend you check out her pattern library. Another sweater that I thought was really interesting is the Puget Sound pullover by Kay Hopkins. This is a DK weight top down in the round sweater. Again, it is a circular yoke. And what I really liked about this one is that there seems to be some texture as well as colour work going on. So you have these little bobbles at the top of the yoke, and then you go into these Christmassy looking trees, but they were also raised because I think they are done in purl bumps. So it's basically garter stitch in there, which I think is really, really beautiful. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a slip stitch pattern, so it's not stranded colour work, which I think would be really interesting to knit, because I don't think very many patterns like circular yokes are done in slip stitches. They are more commonly done as stranded colour work. I really, really like how this looks, and this would definitely be worth checking out. Again, it's almost size inclusive, but not quite. This seems to be happening all the time lately when I'm finding patterns, and it is a bit of a shame, because it would be really nice if yeah, more of them were completely size inclusive. They're so close, they're nearly there. I have found another free pattern for you, which as far as I can tell has got a lot of sizes up to a 4XL, so this may well be size inclusive. I haven't downloaded it, so I can't tell you, and there's not that much information on the pattern page. But this is the Valingbe sweater by Agnes Brandels, and as I said, it's a free pattern. It is knit in worsted weight at a 20 stitch gauge, and this is really different to me because the circular yoke features these little hearts, but they almost have like a little stem in the hearts. They look to me like they are little Christmas ornaments that you would hang. So this is again a really gentle nod towards Christmas, but not screaming Christmas at you, and that is exactly the sweet spot that I would be looking for. And I think it would be really cute to sort of duplicate stitch a few of them, maybe in red, just to highlight the Christmassiness. And I think what actually drew me more in for it being a Christmas pattern was that the first photo on the pattern page is the lady, the model, holding a parcel, a gift in her hands. So again, this is not completely Christmas, but kind of, and I think that is really, really cool and wearable. The last pattern I would like to share with you is the Winter Traveller by Julia Farwell Clay. This is a bulky weight sweater, and this is very, very cool. I really, really like how this looks. It is, again, almost size inclusive, but not quite. I don't know why I keep finding these patterns, and I want to share them with you because they are really, really cool and really inspiring, but they're just a tiny bit off. So you might not have actually come across them because a lot of pattern roundups these days seem to be about size inclusive patterns, which obviously is a great thing. But then these almost size inclusive patterns get missed, and I think if you hype them up a bit more and reach out to the designers and show that, please, could you just raise the size range slightly, I think we could improve on some of these designers that are so, so close. So what's really cool about this pattern is that it's an extremely striking snowflake right on the front, and then there's just a smidge of a snowflake on the back as well, which I thought was so cool. And this is kind of totally different style, but in the same vein as that pattern that I'd love to buy, that Japanese one with the little sock on the back. You know, it's just got this little hint of a snowflake on the back. And I think this would be so cool. It is worked in intarsia, but it says mostly in the round. So I think this might be one of those intarsia patterns that are done with short rows, which would be very cool. So this is, again, a pattern that I would very much like to knit. But I think you need to buy it. Oh no, you can buy it on Ravelry. That was a bit odd. I thought that was only purchasable on her website, but there are both options available here. And because it's a bulky weight pattern, this would knit up so fast. So if you're putting off Christmas sweaters for a while, this will be a good one to do later on. So I hope you enjoyed this quick roundup of Christmas sweaters that I have saved that say Christmas but don't scream Christmas. If you would like for me to film a video of Christmas sweaters that scream Christmas, without the dog knocking the tripod over, I am absolutely happy to do that for you. I will have to dig a little bit deeper for those because I personally don't really want a Christmas sweater that screams Christmas because I'm not the biggest Christmas person. But I feel like it's a bit silly that after this many years of garment knitting, I still don't own a Christmas sweater. So if you'd like to see that, I apologise, there goes the dog. If you'd like to see that from me, please let me know down below. Please let me know if you are knitting a Christmas sweater this year. And please let me know if any of these patterns are new to you and inspiring to you, and whether you would like to knit some of them along with me, because I think one or two of these will hop on my needles shortly. Thank you so, so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.